Welcome to Kiss the Reviews. I'm Armando, that's Corey, and today we are doing 2015's Night of the Living Deb. Before we get started, if you want to follow us on social media, you can follow us at Kiss the Reviews on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And as always, join us on Patreon. Couple of bucks barrier of entry. You get some pre-show stuff. We give away free stuff to buy your love and to buy your follow on Patreon. And we have clips to the movie. We do watch parties. There's all kinds of cool shit on Patreon. So give us a follow there. And let's get into the cast of 2015's Night of the Living Deb.
See?
This film stars Maria Thayer as Deb Clarington, Michael Cassidy as Ryan Waverly, Julie Brister as Ruby, Sid Wilder as Stacy, and Ray Wise as Frank Waverly.
He was great.
He was fantastic. I really love this dude. Like he's one of my. Whenever he shows up in a movie, you're gonna get something good. I just like the guy.
Oh yeah,
and he's dude, just him with the cooking the brownies or baking the brownies. It's just great. This is spoiler alert, a really, really fun movie. So if you haven't seen it, I'm going to do this up front. I just suggest you guys check this out. But this is a great movie.
And I suggest Maria Thayer call me for her drinks and dinner.
You know what? I would agree with that, but my thoughts on redheads. So
yeah, I fucking love them crazy fucking freaks, genetic freaks.
I'm gonna have to pass. I'm gonna have to take a pass on this.
I'm about it with her.
I know you are.
I've loved her. She did a one show arc on 30 Rock, and I was like, "Who's this little spicy redhead?" And then she also played Jack McBriar's wife in Forgetting Sarah Marshall.
Yep.
And at that point, I was like, "Oh my god, I am so." Do you know how fucking difficult it is to masturbate to someone when they still have clothes on? That's not something I do. If you've read one of my books, there's no imagination. So, I need to see it, and I didn't have to. I am in love.
Well, after all of that, too much information, we'll dive into the movie.
Rude. It's only on the internet forever. I don't see what the problem is.
Oh shit. Well, this movie opens at a bar. It's on the 4th of July. Ruby is convincing Deb to go talk to this very pretty man named Ryan. And she goes over, talks to him, and then we cut to the next morning. Deb wakes up at Ryan's apartment. She overhears Ryan talking to someone about trying to get rid of Deb, and she's still sleeping and she won't leave. And she then starts remembering the night before where Ryan fought with his fiance Stacy about not working for his dad. And we get a little dive into who Stacy is, who Ryan is. And we get the awkward conversation between them when he comes into the room and she pretends like she's still sleeping.
Dude, I give her so much credit because she is undesirable at this moment. And not because she just woke up, but I mean, she is a lot.
She's a lot.
The term "say less" was brought up just for this character.
Well, I'm going to do a quick don't do that because of this scene.
Don't do that, it's not good for you.
Hi, guys and girls out there alike, right? You go to a bar, you meet somebody, they take you back to their place, okay? You wake up, you do whatever you do, right? You have your fun, you wake up the next morning, you hear them in the other room on the phone with somebody yeah, like this thing happened. I need to get rid of this person. You overhear those words, immediately just pack your shit and go, hey, that was fun. We'll see you around never. And just leave. Don't do what Deb does in this scene, which is make things 10 times worse by trying to be like cool, like the cool, funny one. Don't do that.
I will admit, if you do this with me, you're probably going to get a ring put on your finger. History proves.
Is it possible this story is true? Yes, it is.
It's such a weird two-way street because, one, if I'm in this position, I'm like, no, you got to get the fuck out of my house, crazy lady. Like, clearly I was in the wrong here. This is my bad. I take full responsibility. Now shoo.
Yes. Now shoo.
Now shoo. Fly.
That's the whitest shit you've ever seen.
Well, it's the mustache.
Now,
Culture
now
grade, rich guy
skedaddle,
mustache.
youngly.
I look like I'm
Skedaddle,
about to
lady.
pollute a lake somewhere. But also, I appreciate Deb shooting her shot. She's like, this is the prettiest man I've ever seen in my life.
Yep.
I ended up going home with him. I don't remember what happened, but at the same time, I don't really care. I'm gonna shoot my shot. Now, a little aggressive.
Her shot was a little wide. A little wide of the mark.
Little left, bro. If you were William Tell, you shot that boy in the goddamn face.
Okay, calm down.
But Deb, after she leaves and they like part ways, he goes around the corner because he said he's gonna go like meet his family or whatever for the 4th of July. She goes to her car. She hears this strange voicemail from Ruby. And then when she tries to call her back, the phone goes dead. And as she drives away, she sees zombies attacking and eating people.
As you do.
As you do.
I love too where she's like, the 4th of July part or the parade's really gone downhill this year.
When she sees the two kids eating.
Yeah. So disappointed.
But Ryan goes to the coffee shop. He goes to get a coffee. He gets attacked by the barista. He gets away. He sees Deb driving over zombies. They get chased by a bunch of other zombies and they run back to Ryan's place where they hear the state of emergency over the radio because of like the zombie apocalypse, and there's more awkward moments here between them. None of which more awkward than they watch the TV and she's like, oh, this is like pre-recorded. I don't know why this is on. And she works at the news station. Mm-hmm. She's like, do you have a radio? And then they're standing in the shower together. And he's like, we can take this out of the shower. And she's like, shh. It's such a great scene.
It's almost like the roles are reversed here. And this is the shit a guy would be doing to a girl.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, just she's taking advantage of every situation. Yeah. And every innuendo, every entendre she could possibly make to make a sexual innuendo to him, she's taking it.
Yes.
And it's what I mean. Like, even through the apocalypse, she's like, yeah, I want to see that trouser snake. And I'm with it. I totally with it.
She literally shoots her shot throughout the movie.
Oh, 100%. It's great. And what I love about her too here is the writing of her character is so good because up until they get back into his apartment, she kind of seems dumb and ditzy and obnoxious and just kind of like, ugh, you know what I mean? Too much.
Yeah.
And then you find out like, well, she was nervous because of the hot guy. You know, she doesn't have a lot of self-confidence. She wants to be an anchor, but she doesn't think she's got the tools. So she's just a cameraman right now. She's not even really trying.
Yep.
She doesn't really stick up for herself. But then they get into this emergency. And, you know, she's like, we need weapons. We need food. We need to watch the TV. The TV's pre-recorded, so we need to roll over to the radio. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Once the shit kicks in, she knows exactly what to do. And he's just sitting there like a drooling fucking idiot.
Oh, which, absolutely.
Again, role reversal. That's usually what happens in these movies is the woman's going, I don't know what to do. And I only have salad in my refrigerator.
Why do you have coconut water? Is this Maine or Gilligan's Island?
It's very hydrating.
So they develop this plan because she needs to drive to Virginia Beach to go get her mom. And they get attacked on the road. She basically says, "I'm gonna drive you over to your dad's house. We'll drop you off, and then I'll head to Virginia Beach." So, but they get attacked after they get these road snacks, and they get away to Deb's car. And on this drive, they begin to talk and kind of like feel each other out. And Ryan really exposes here that he's like this kale eating pussy.
Oh yeah.
Like, again, to your point, the role reversal of it all. He's just like, oh, she finds out that his dad owns like the water plant and, big evil, big water plant guy. And he wants nothing to do with it because, he loves trees and animals and whatever.
He's basically the stereotype of what every Republican thinks every Democrat is. He is the male stereotype for what Democrats are portrayed to be. Yes. Little do you guys know, we got mustaches and watch shows like Yellowstone. So fuck off, cowboy.
I have a very masculine set of features.
As they drive, they stop at this Christmas shop to check in on Ruby, who owns the shop. They see that she's a zombie. They lure her outside and they lock her in the trunk. And my favorite part of this is when they pull in and they're looking for weapons. And she's like, check the glove box. And there's like a little like tiny like revolver pea shooter in the glove box. He's like, you've had a gun? She's like, yeah, it was there when I bought the car. And she's like, there's only 2 bullets in it. So we'll just use it if it gets to that point.
Comes down to it, we'll use it to tap out.
Tap out?
Tap. And then tap.
And I love that he's such a dick. He's like, you shot yourself first. Dude, I would boot this fucker out of the car so fast.
100%.
Oh my God. Like, don't play semantics with me, motherfucker. You know what I'm talking about. Son of a bitch. I hate when people do that shit.
So these guys, they finally get to Ryan's rich dad's house. Deb meets Ryan's psycho brother Chaz and his dad. And Stacy is also there. So Ryan and Deb find out here that the water from his dad's plant turned everyone into zombies. Ryan's dad's like, oh, the governor got us a helicopter so we can get the fuck out of here. He's trying to get Deb on the thing. The dad's like, yeah, totally. We could totally bring her. And he's like, we ain't fucking bringing this bitch.
Just the way he brings it up, he's like, they're sending a helicopter for 4, not 5.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, and Ryan's like, I'm pretty sure she's small. We could squeeze her in.
She'll squeeze in.
And then her dad makes the brownies, and he's in his like little fucking apron, and he's a big 4th of July guy. So he makes these brownies, but he loads Deb's with a shitload of horse tranquilizers. Deb, I think, takes a small bite, and then she gives it to Topper, who's like the big fat dummy security guy that's checking the perimeter.
And the dad ended up saying he filled it with so much horse tranquilizer, she'll be asleep until summer.
Yeah. But so instead, Topper eats the brownie. He passes out. The house gets overtaken by zombies as Deb is leaving. Everything falls apart.
We got to go back a couple steps. First off, the fireworks scene, I was pissing my goddamn pants laughing. I won't spoil it for you guys if you haven't seen it. There's no reason to describe it, but the fireworks scene is literally one of the funniest, dumbest things I've seen in a long time. I was so happy they did that. And then 2, Stacy decides now's a good time to start fucking and comes out in the hottest lingerie. I mean, God damn, Stacy.
Damn. I know Corey likes redheads, but
I like that ass. I'll tell you that.
Chicks with black hair kind of turned him here.
Yeah, look, when your face is buried in their ass cheeks, you can't tell what color their hair is. You know what I'm saying?
I'm talking about sex.
That's fair.
That being said, Stacy throws a fucking tantrum and mocks what Ryan and Deb were doing.
Yes.
With her Harry Met Sally scene. And then Deb gets pissed off and decides, finally, Deb gets some sort of self-respect and just fucking leaves.
Yes. Exactly.
But at the fireworks scene, I love this part too, where Ray Wise, I know we've talked about him and we'll continue because he's fantastic. When he just looks at Deb and he's like, how you feeling there, Deb? Just out of nowhere because he thinks she ate the brownies.
Deborah, over there, how you doing there, hon?
The other scene here, because as like the zombies come in, Chaz is out there shooting zombies because he's a psycho. Stacy comes out because she thinks her cats got let out. And they have this little back and forth because Chaz is in love with her because they banged the night before because Stacy and Ryan broke up for like a second.
God,
but then they both
that family. Jesus.
But they both get attacked and bitten by zombies here. So it's apparently curtains for the both of them. But on the road, Deb runs into like the Proud Boys barricade and they test her. They let her know that she's good to go. Like she's not going to be a zombie and she's good to go back to town because no one is allowed to leave the town.
Mm-hmm.
This is where Ryan and his dad show up. The governor's there, and the governor's like, yeah, you guys are fucked too. You need to go back.
This was great too, because you knew this is how it would this is how I believe it would go down. Not necessarily like through the water system and, blah, blah, but like the guys that engineered it getting fucked over at the last moment because they're like, I don't care about your money anymore. Like, we're going to pin this on you. So fuck off.
Somebody needs to take the fall.
It's so perfect.
Yeah.
So perfect. Well, and the governor basically being a 4'3" white version of Emmanuel Lewis is fantastic. Just this wormy little fucking hobbit. Like, no, you're all fucked.
Yeah. Well, my favorite is, and again, this all comes back around at the end, but like Ryan convinces them that they have footage of all of them. It's in Deb's trunk. So they all go, the governor and some of the Proud Boys go over to Deb's trunk. Ruby pops out because they have her locked in the trunk. Everything goes to hell. Ryan's dad gets bit and Deb and Ryan just hop in her car and head back to town.
This is the one and only complaint I will give this movie is I wish Ruby could have stuck around longer. Maybe been in the car, like they went to her shop. They actually got her out. They take her to the dad's house and then her and Deb leave together. And through the melee, she gets bit and Deb puts her in the trunk at that point. So you can still have the end, where she ends up progressing the story along by biting the dad, yada, yada, and killing the governor and the Proud Boys. But I think the missed opportunity in that was Ruby as the best friend just beating the shit out of Ryan. Because Deb is so love-struck and such a nice person, she's not going to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I don't mean like physically like beating him up, but just ridiculing him throughout this whole fucking thing. Would have just been brilliant.
No, it would have when you take into consideration how the explanation for the zombies through the wall, because you had to have taken a shower or drank the water or blah, blah, blah. Like there's really no reason that Ruby, unless, she's just a dirty bitch like Deb and Ryan and they didn't shower that night. That's the only way Ruby would have been.
Which is explainable because they went out that night and then she had to go open up like her Goodwill store or her Goodwill Christmas store, which by the way, a woman that looks like Ruby owning a Goodwill type shop will fuck you up. Whether you are a live person, a zombie, a vampire, a fucking werewolf, a wraith, it doesn't matter. That woman has seen some shit, and she ain't got no time for your boldness. She's done.
Hell yes.
We have to also, I have to bring up, I'm so sorry.
No,
because this is such a great scene. The Proud Boy shooting all the other guys on accident. Because he's pooping his pants and has no idea how to handle his weapon is fucking brilliant.
No, that is great. And again, like I said to start, like this is such a fun movie,
Mm-hmm.
and it's scenes like that where it's just like it's almost like a National Lampoonsy kind of scene where it's
Oh,
just like,
100%.
oh shit, he's falling down, he's shooting fucking all his buddies. It's a funny, fun scene. But Deb, while they're eating ice cream in this, deserted town that they live in, Deb has the idea to go to the news station and broadcast the report of what's going on and like taking down the pre-recorded shit that they have running. She reports on live TV. She gets attacked. She gets bitten.
Yep.
And then it cuts to immediately a bunch of news stations, YouTube creators, conspiracy debunkers, conspiracy theorists, like offering all their opinions on whether or not Deb's video is actually real, which, again, funny, but couldn't be more true to life if something like this were to actually happen. Like,
Yep.
you could go to TikTok. Oh, there's the video, and it's like, oh, this is just for fucking clicks, and this is clickbait. Immediately, when shit happens now, if you go to TikTok and you're just scrolling through, or you go to Reels or whatever it is that you use, there's always this. You get the video, and then 1,000 like either conspiracy theorists or debunkers or whatever.
Yep. Dude, there are still people that are convinced the earth is flat. I have nothing else to say on the subject matter.
You were right.
But we cut back here to Deb and Ryan. They're running through the news station. Zombies are kind of taking over the place. They're chasing them through the news station. They get to the roof, and as Deb is now convinced that she's turning into a zombie, 2 EMTs show up on the roof. They let them know that biting doesn't turn you into a zombie.
This was hilarious.
And
They're like, what
They
are you, some kind of zombophobe?
What are you? Some kind of zombophobe?
No, a lot of my best friends are zombies.
And Ryan's dad shows up. Chaz shows up as well to tell them how they figured it out. And how they figured out that, like, Chaz got bit. And so they cover, that was the other cool thing too.
Mm-hmm.
As they're going to like the barricade, they cover Chaz with like a blanket. And they're like, oh, cover him so they don't know that he's been bitten. The whole thing. And as Ryan and Deb are running away and going back to town, Chaz's dad is on the ground with the gun. He was like, I got you covered. And then they realize that you don't change if you got bit.
It was so great. Like, this whole scene's so funny, too. The EMTs are fantastic. Even they're like, you don't change when you get bit? They're like, no, that's kind of stupid. Like, even if you had an open wound and their mouth was full of water and gushing blood at the same time they bit you, they're still like, what, 1 billion to 1 shot?
Yeah.
Like, they're just like, no. That's the dumbest shit we've ever heard of.
That's great.
And then the dad and Chaz being so happy, they're like, we're in handcuffs, but we did start the zombie apocalypse.
Yes.
And they're like, Portland's going to be wiped off the map. They're just so happy.
Yep. Well, that's the funny thing too, because the movie ends as Ryan and Deb kiss, and then you just see the fucking military bombing the city in the background,
Mm-hmm.
which is so great. Like, dude, this movie, I had zero expectations going in because I didn't know. I just knew it was like a zombie movie. I got the cast, started doing my notes, and I like to do the notes with especially with movies like this that I've never seen before. I don't like to look at the plot synopsis. I don't like to do that. I don't want any idea of what I'm getting into. So it was like this pleasant surprise. I didn't have really high expectations coming in because it's like, okay, it's another zombie movie based on the first 5 minutes of this movie. It's a comedy. And then once it got in and everything was off and running and Deb's jumping on, like straddling the zombie, like on his shoulders and like hitting him in the head and shit. Again, it was just a fun fucking movie. I dug it.
Yeah, I like that scene. That's one of my favorite scenes. That's when I really was like, dialed in. Is
Yeah.
when she's riding the zombie on the shoulders to let Ryan get away. Again, a good role reversal.
Yeah.
Because she's kind of the tough guy and the plan maker and all this stuff. So she's like, you go, I'll sacrifice myself. She jumps on the zombie's shoulders after kicking another one. And then she's like, woohoo, yeehaw! And she's literally riding the zombie into a crowd of zombies. Ryan unlocks his bicycle because, again, he's what I think they call a libtard. And he doesn't have a car. So he unlocks his bicycle, takes the chain, and comes back to save her.
Yeah.
And ends up like knocking on the zombies out with the chain. She gets off the thing and she's like, oh my God, you came back for me? Like she, again, like taking her shot. It is somehow funny and just perfect without being weird or obscene or like taking you out of the movie and the situation or any of that. Like let me put it this way. When we watched Brain Damage, I think it was Brain Damage, I said like these 70s and 80s, especially the 80s, like horror comedy wasn't for me.
Yeah.
This is why. This is a movie I've literally never seen, never heard of, was made however many years ago. And it is so much better than any of the 80s comedy horror we watched. It's not even fucking funny. Jokes, just from a joke standpoint, an acting standpoint. And it's still like a cult movie. And you know that because I haven't fucking heard of this movie. And all I do is watch movies.
Well, the funny thing for me when I see movies like this, and again, to your point, and the point we've made countless times, starting with Brain Damage, was, you know, these horror comedies nowadays, basically like in the 2000s, some in the 90s, but like into the 2000s, the writing has gotten so much better. The budgets have gotten bigger. But I always take a look and see what the budget is for a movie like this. This budget was the estimated on IMDb was like $20 million, which shocked the shit out of me that this movie had that budget. But you can tell it had that budget. You know what I mean? It was shot well. Like everything looked great. The script was good. And again, in horror comedy, we always go back to the script. If the script sucks, it's not going to be funny. It's going to be campy more than it is funny. Like this was actually comedy with some horror mixed in.
That's what I think I was going to say was I think the recipe is write a comedy and then insert the horror into other situations surrounding the comedy you're writing. This is a romantic comedy.
Yeah. It's
an odd couple getting to know each other in you know, intense situation.
Yep.
That's
absolutely.
That's the movie.
Yeah. But this, I mean, they hit it out of the park on this one. So
100%. I will recommend this movie to anyone that likes even remotely close to this genre. It's fun. It's funny. You know, we bring up the politics in it because they do bring up politics here or there. But they do it in such a way that it doesn't. You're gonna laugh at Deb making fun of Ryan if you're a Republican, and you're gonna laugh at Ryan hating on his family if you are a Democrat.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
No,
like
it's
a soup for everyone.
It really is. It really is. And I found all of that stuff funny, and it was all subtle. There wasn't like anything over the top. You know what I mean?
Nobody says like, thanks, Obama. You know what I mean? Like, there's none of that. It's just more like, she's like, what are you, some kind of pussy? You know, like she's ragging on him for all of the liberal things he is and does. And he's ragging on her and his family for all of the horrible conservativeness that they are.
Well, and again, going to the liberal conservative of it all, when she opens his fridge and it's literally just like kale, coconut water, like that's all that's in his fridge. And she's like, Jesus Christ, do you have any fucking food in your house? Which is so great. But no, I mean, I have nothing but good things to say about this movie. This was requested by Christina, who also helps us with our social media stuff. So Thanks for the recommendation and for
Yeah.
everything you do.
Nah, thanks for the recommendation. 50-50 on the rest, dude.
But that's all I got, man. Do you got anything else for this one?
No, this was very refreshing. Usually when we watch a movie that both of us have never heard of or seen,
Yeah.
it's usually a pile of fuck. But this was so refreshing.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite term, pile of fuck. I'll be using that a lot
It's all
in
yours.
the near future. I appreciate that. I'm going to give you 0 credit for it. So
Nobody else does.
just like most things I steal from you. So with that said, for Corey, I'm Armando. This is Kiss the Reviews, and this was 2015's Night of the Living Deb.